everyone, and welcome to variation 18. This variation is about bringing the bow down onto the string from above in the upper half of the bow smoothly and ideally without it bouncing. It's very good for control in the upper half of the bow, and by practicing that you gain in bow control like crazy. But it's difficult, it takes a while, because normally if you bring down the bow in the upper half, it'll bounce. So what you're supposed to learn is to stop it from bouncing, and that takes time, so you'll have to be patient. It's a good idea to start practicing this just on one note so that you can concentrate completely on your bow and don't have to worry about your left hand. So what I would advise is to play one note coming from above, like that. That way you can concentrate on the bow. Now I'll take that apart a little bit. The first thing which is important is that you come out of a motion. Don't come down vertically. That's useless. If you come down like that, it'll definitely bounce and there's nothing you can do to stop it. What you can do is imagine the bow touching down smoothly like an aeroplane touches down when you don't notice the touchdown, which means that you're gliding above the string for a while until it catches the string. So that's impossible to demonstrate in slow motion because you actually need the flowing movement, which is why it's a good idea to practice it like this. So that's the one thing you need to think about, that you're coming out of a motion and you're in the air, you change direction in the air, and then you slowly touch down. One thing which definitely helps is to tilt the bow towards the fingerboard, because if you tilt the bow towards the fingerboard, that stops it from bouncing, and that's very helpful in this case. So what you do is you tilt the bow towards the fingerboard. Not too much, try it out a little bit. If you tilt it too much, then it also won't work, but try how much tilting it that you don't play with all the hairs. You have less tension, and that's why it bounces less, by the way. If you don't have all the hairs, that will help a lot. Another way of practicing it is to start with what you can already do by doing it in the middle. You can bring down the bow nice and controlled in the middle. And then you work your way up centimeter by centimeter. So just try to go further away from the middle towards the tip every time you bring it down. So try that and practice that on one note. You can include it into your scale practicing as well. And like I mentioned before, have patience. When you practice this variation, since the main difficulty are the up bows, I spent a lot of time only practicing those by starting each figure with an up bow. That I found very helpful because I was basically practicing what I couldn't do. So what I did was this. So that I found very helpful. I'll show you slowly once, because what I do is I do two little up bows afterwards so that I get onto the right bowing so that I can start each one with an up bow. So what I did was this. And that brought me to the up bow again. So that I found very helpful, because that way I could really concentrate on doing them. And then what I actually had to do in the end, where only every second one is with an up bow, it felt relaxing and easy. Besides working at the up bows, it's important to play this variation with an exact bow division. Otherwise you won't get any security into it. The bow division has to be worked around the spiccato, because the spiccato only has one place where it works. Depending on the speed of the spiccato, that would be different places, and also depending on your bow to a certain extent. But once you've found the spiccato, you will notice that that only works in one place, so everything else has to be worked around that. So the first thing you do is you decide where exactly you want to do the spiccato. So find that first. Okay, so I found it. For that speed, it works best just slightly above the point of balance with my bow. So you'll have to try that out. Once you've found that, you work the slurs around that so that they take you exactly to that place. So this is where I want to go. So what I do is, and the same from here. So make sure you work your slurs around where the spiccato works best.